The Bad Batch season finale is here, and my goodness, is it making a splash. Welcome to Star Wars Uplink. So, the Bad Batch series finale is here. There's some stuff to talk about. There's a lot of changes in terms of what we thought was going to happen and its impact on Star Wars, and it generally just didn't happen.
Yeah, like you said, there was a lot that we thought was going to happen, but it actually ended pretty smoothly. Like, it was pretty classic, I would say. It was a classic ending for the Star Wars that we know today.
Yeah, it was very much like we're going to take, I don't even want to say the easy way out, because Star Wars typically doesn't take this route, even though they could a lot of times. They just decided to straight up kill Hemlock.
It's true. They did a lot of things that I was like, whoa, we're doing this? Okay, wow. Oh. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't necessarily easy. They gave them the best ending they could.
It gave them the final, like, making it the final season, because if they didn't kill Hemlock and they just left basically the research facility in ruins, the details gone, the clones gone, and Hemlock still alive, that would require a lot more. Like we were talking about last time with the last episode, it would require them to have another series or show or something that showcased the impact and the repercussions of those actions.
Yeah, like, with Hemlock being gone, now we can all rest easy, but if we didn't have him gone, we would have so many questions. We would be like, hang on, so what So it's a good thing that they did. Mm-hmm. But yeah, very interesting that they did actually just do away with him. I thought it was fascinating that everyone who died ended up falling. Like, we never actually,
so they could come back at any moment.
Everybody was not found, but they did perish, or so we think they did.
They got shot several times with no real, like, huge piece of it, but yeah, they didn't take the normal Star Wars route, which was, I feel like Star Wars is very anti-kill the people kind of thing right now. That's one of the reasons why Rogue One was so impactful, because everyone died at the end. Mm-hmm. And now we're seeing some of that kind of return with Bad Batch Season 3. It's interesting to see all these different pieces come together, because we had this big moment that Hemlock is working on. It kind of looked like they were dead clones that he's been working on, like, reanimating. Like, that was the vibe I got, at least. So we see what Hemlock was actually working on and what those schematics were earlier on in the show. We don't see any, like, further details. We do get, like, hints at, like, what would happen if Hemlock was alive, with Tarkin being there. There was some big reveals that I didn't expect them to do. Like, I didn't expect them to really, like, give us a lot of, like, the inside look at things, but they did.
How so? I'm curious what you were seeing.
I just mean the necromancer, like the project itself. Obviously, we didn't get the specific details of how it works or any of, like, the let me give you all the dialogue right now. But we at least got to see Project Necromancer isn't anything to do with the kids necessarily.
Yeah.
It isn't anything to do with the Zillo beast necessarily, but it's to do with the piece that was just right in front of us the whole time. The secret trooper that was going around in the galaxy. That was the thing that was really what we should have been focusing on, but we didn't know to focus on the whole time.
Yeah, it's true. We were more of like, oh, Palpatine, because they threw Palpatine in right at the beginning of the third season.
And we don't see him again at all.
At all. So I was really surprised, like, it really didn't have anything necessarily to do with him. I think if it had progressed, then yes, it might have helped certain things. Maybe it was just something that was helping Palpatine. I don't know. Palpatine was probably already underway with his cloning or whatever. But yeah, very interesting that they didn't they didn't stick with Palpatine at all on this.
Yeah, and I think the true purpose of the Bad Batch all along was to focus on the Bad Batch, was to focus on Omega and to showcase her experience getting to this moment where he basically got in the field training. That was the purpose of the Bad Batch, to prepare her for the future, which we'll get to in a second. But there's a lot there when we look at what Bad Batch was really setting up. What Hemlock was doing was laying the foundation for him, for Palpatine to pick it up later, for Mandalorian to pick it up later, not for anything to really get progressed. And honestly, that's probably my biggest gripe with this specific way that they did this, is they just killed what we know will eventually happen later on, and they just said, hey, yeah, this isn't happening now.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about it, honestly. I think it's good. I think it's good that they just stuck with what they were doing. They were like, nope, the show is called Bad Batch, and we're sticking to it, and this is about them, and it's about the clones that they're saving, even though they didn't really feel like they didn't save many clones. But yeah, no, I'm really glad that they stuck to their guns, stuck to their material, and they were like, nope, we're keeping it to this. It can kind of lead into other things if people want to read into that. But yeah, we all definitely read into it way too much as far as the whole cloning and all this. It's like, no, it's just the clones. We're not doing any more than that. It's like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Bad Batch Season 3 is definitely to help fill in some of the gaps. Or not even necessarily fill in the gaps, but kind of I don't know, a fresh coat of drywall mud over a rough surface. Just to smooth things out a bit. Between that transition of oh, hey, we're the Republic. No, now we're the Empire. I feel a lot of Bad Batch's purpose as a show is to kind of smooth things over with that transition, and we're getting the repercussions of that. And honestly, I thought it was interesting that there was this the reference to Project Stardust, which was the Death Star. So basically the funds that were getting put towards Tantus got pulled away, and everything's full on board with the Death Star. So I think it's interesting to see some of those details come in as well, seeing Tarkin's baby, which is actually Krennic's baby, but all these different pieces are there that tie into the larger Star Wars world.
Yeah, it was really cool to see that, and it's oh, okay, this is what they're doing, this is how they're tying this in. It was nice to see that, especially with the competitiveness that we vaguely get to see in the Empire, especially with these higher ups. It's good to see oh yeah, he did benefit from this then. Yes. Tarkin benefited from Hemlock going away, because now Palpatine will see his project or his thing that he's taking over as a much more valid thing, sort of thing. So it's oh, okay, this is where it all comes in.
Yeah, I do wonder if Mount Tantus ended up being the big thing that it was in the Legends content. If Tarkin would have done the same power play that he did with the Death Star for Mount Tantus. I don't think necessarily Hemlock would have gone along with that, but I think it might have been something that Tarkin would have played for, at least. But in terms of the actual show and its ending itself, what did you think of young adult Omega?
I think it was good. You hear a little bit of derision in my voice. I'm a little disappointed that we're not gonna get a still somewhat young Omega, maybe learning more Jedi things. They just erased
that whole part of her history. Is oh yeah, they didn't do anything, and oh hey, she's old now.
Guess what? She's old enough to go into a war now on her own. So here we go. Here's an easy answer out. Get her out of the field, on the field, whatever. Yeah. Everyone would know that she would never be okay with just sitting around living a normal life.
No, yeah, so no way.
I'm really glad that they did at least throw her into the rebellion. Yeah, that's absolutely what she would do. But at the same time, I
don't think it would have taken that long for her to get involved.
I don't think so either. I think she would have been, well, her dads were probably wait until you're at least 17 or 18. Come on.
Yeah. 4 more years and you'll survive.
Yeah. It would have been cool if they had kind of played with that with Hunter being more like, yeah, I guess we said that you could go at this point. Like, that would have been more fun, I think. But obviously, they don't want to harp too much on the how much time has passed, because I think that's often a thing that people get kind of irritated with, is when they do these time jumps, because obviously we want to follow these characters that we've fallen in love with for a long time, but they're already jumping to way in the future, so
Yeah. There's definitely potential there for like a continuing show or something like that. I would love to see the Adventures of Omega or something along those lines, because it would love to, like what Bad Batch did really well was explore that time period in between like the Republic and the Empire, and now it's like, okay, now we're going to explore the Empire and the New Republic. I think that could be interesting, but or like this time period of like the beginnings of the rebellion, like Andor. Like I think there's stuff like that could be interesting, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. They left themselves in a good spot where if they don't want to do anything with it, they totally can. Like, they can just leave it at that, and it's fine. Their hands are clean. But yeah, what did you think about older Omega? Just when she came on the screen, or did you know right away that it was her? Or?
Oh yeah, I knew right away that it was her for sure. They try to be like, this is Ventress. It's like, no, this is clearly not Ventress. Don't even try to fool me. I knew like immediately that it was going to be Omega, and then it was like, that looks like Omega. Okay, old Omega, interesting. Time jump. Okay, interesting. That was kind of like my thinking on it, but yeah, I think it worked. I thought it was an interesting move. Did I think it was the right move? I don't know, but honestly,
it's a choice. It's a choice.
It's a choice for sure. But let us know your thoughts on our theories here with the Bad Batch Season 3 finale. What did you think of Omega in this form, in this part of the galaxy? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, check out our podcast, and may the Force be with you.